Capricorn, if life is suddenly demanding your attention from every direction, this message is for you. Hey there, beautiful souls. Welcome to your April monthly tarot reading. If you're new to the channel, welcome to Universal Wisdom Tarot. And if you're returning, thank you so much for your continued support. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss your spiritual guidance. This month is fast, productive, and full of major breakthroughs. Get busy because powerful new beginnings are unfolding. Stay tuned, my friends, and I'll see you on the flip side. Hey there, beautiful Capricorn souls. Welcome to or welcome back to the channel. This is your April General Intuitive Tarot reading. And as always, just remember to take the messages that resonate best for you and leave the rest. I have already asked for blessings for the reading, so let's get going. Okay, Capricorn, let's check out what you have here. You have as your main messages, you have the Queen of Pentacles, the Judgment card, the Knight of Wands, and the Fool. Your overarching energy is the Knight of Swords, and that is the theme of your month, and that is the energy of rapid action. So it's very interesting because you have this theme of rapid action, and yet it's like it kind of starts slow in the month. And you're feeling like maybe you're stuck a little bit, but then things gradually open up for you by the end of the month. So for some of you, you're trying to achieve some kind of speed, some kind of getting going, some kind of getting busy. Others of you, you just can't seem to get busy, and you need to get busy, okay? So it's interesting because I feel like there's an energy and a desire for speed. And it's less like it doesn't really come in the first week or the second week, but I feel like it picks up in week 3, maybe more of week 4. But I would say to you, if you want to get busy, bonus. If you're sort of sitting around and things haven't been happening for you, Capricorn, I'd say it's time to get busy. Now is your time to get busy, all right? So I do feel like some of you are, getting your home sorted out. Some of you are, maybe want to do some renovations. Something's going down there, I'm feeling. And so this is the getting busy. It's time to get busy, get the home together, get it painted, maybe get the lawn done, maybe start getting into the garden. This is April, right? Spring, if you live in the northern hemisphere, a really good time to, we wake up in the spring. We really start when the weather starts to get a little nicer, and we start to get out there and get busy. This is your time to get busy and get out there. Let's start in your first week. Queen of Pentacles clarified by the Seven of Pentacles and the Prince of Pentacles, which is the Knight of Pentacles. Okay, so You're being very steady here in this first week. You're very patient. You're very responsible in this first week. You're really looking at things and assessing them, especially when it comes to home, when it comes to finances, when it comes to your daily routines, my friends. You are looking at things with this Seven of Pentacles and you're saying, I want to do something right, right? I want to do this properly. I want to make sure that this is, this is how I want to start things. This is my feeling. It's quite slow. Like the Queen of Pentacles is an energy of being very grounded, but she pays attention. She's very meticulous as a character, right? It's paying attention to the details, and the details isn't something that you rush, okay? But and neither is the Seven of Pentacles, because it's about reflection. It's about taking a step back and saying, okay, if I want to do this and I want to do this right and I want to do this properly and I need to take care of all of these details, what's the right process for me to use? What should I be doing here to make this work better, faster, whatever? Okay. And the Knight of Pentacles is the slowest knight in the deck. I mean, this image is standing in front of a huge field and saying, what should I do with that field? What should I do with all of that green there? Should I plant something? Should I not? It's about taking sort of one step at a time. So as I said, that's why I said, if you are looking for some speed, it doesn't really come in the first week. But if you are just been sitting around, then I said, guess what? It's time to get busy now. It's time to assess it, figure out what steps you're going to take to make sure so that you can act upon it in the latter half or the rest of the month, let's say. Okay. So spend that time in the first week to pause, to assess things, to look at what you're working on, what needs adjusting. Okay. A slow, steady approach here is going to really be the way to having progress or making progress. Okay. So the month might, feels like the month might just sort of pick up in pace. The beginning kind of feels slow. Your foundation is building carefully and very methodically. All right. So I feel like you're committed to something long term, whatever, some kind of long term results. You're not taking any shortcuts, that's for sure, in this first week, which is, really saying that you want to do something right and make sure you're going to be successful at it. Okay. So, like I said, take this in any area of life. It could be about your finance, it could be about home improvements, it could be about personal growth, it could be about your career. I just feel like you're doing it right. Okay. And you should be proud of the steps that you're taking and the accomplishment that you achieve in that first week, my friends. Okay. Now we move into Judgment, clarified by the Eight of Swords and the Page of Cups. So I feel like this is sort of, if this was the slow week, this is kind of where the breakthrough happens, maybe even more so it happens here in this Knight of Wands. I feel like it's mid second week into third week that you really get the breakthrough, okay? At least for sure in the second week, you have a bit of an awakening with the Judgment card, okay? Even if it's just the realization that you need to get going and you need to get busy, or the realization that you're trying to go fast and yet you're feeling quite bound by that Eight of Swords and going, but how do I go fast if I'm all tied up? Okay? So something is calling to you. Something's calling you to answer the call. Something's calling to you to rise up. Something's calling to you to say, release the old and jump into the new patterns here and step into this new phase. Okay. Part of this is really about breaking free from old patterns, right? Breaking free from something that's limiting you. Maybe it's limiting beliefs. Maybe there's some self-doubt. Maybe you have some mental restrictions somewhere, okay? I feel like you realize that the only thing holding you back is your own perception of what is possible for you, okay? And you definitely have some emotional renewal here, okay? So I feel like there's some change that's may required or something needs to be done to get this speed, to get going, to get busy. You sort of have the realization, and then I think you pop, my friends, and then it just pops and it rolls. Okay. So We get into the third week, Knight of Wands clarified by the King of Wands and the Seven of Cups. So Capricorn, this is where your passion comes into play. This is where your confidence comes back. This is where you start taking some bold action finally, okay? So the Knight of Wands is about movement, it's about travel, it's about excitement, it's about taking inspired risk, okay? And the King of Wands often makes us feel like it's very directed and very purposeful. King of Wands is an energy of looking at the big picture, the 30,000-foot view, and saying, okay, there's the world down there. Looks very different than when you are right on the earth, right? So when you're in the thick of something, you can't really see the big picture. The King of Wands does see the big picture. So that allows you to do some long-term planning. It allows you to figure out sort of like a longer plan or a 5-year plan or something like that for some of you, and look at things from a very different perspective, which is the bigger global view of something. All right. So it's very purposeful. It's a very directed kind of vision. Okay. You could be leading something. You could be initiating something. You're stepping definitely into an authority type of position or authority with confidence. You're acting with confidence. You're acting with authority here. Okay. You definitely have a bunch of options in front of you when it comes to that global picture. Okay. Now, some of you could be thinking about traveling, where you want to go, and looking at that as a global picture, because the Knight of Wands is about travel sometimes, and it's oftentimes about doing something that's outside of the box, something that's outside of our comfort zone, okay? So if you're trying to get some speed and get busy and move ahead and try something new, that's in the third week that it breaks for you and you can actually start going for it. But you have a lot of choices there to consider, my friends. All right. So, I just say that, because there's a lot of options, or a lot of choices, just try to stay as focused as you can and think about what aligns with your long-term goals, right? Rather than just sort of being scattered all over the place with the energy and sort of flitting from one option to the other here, okay? Because if you are really getting busy and you fly here and you start really going with some speed, right? Because the Knight of Swords is the fastest moving deck, okay? Or moving knight in the deck. Fastest moving knight in the deck, okay? So sometimes he doesn't think of the consequences. So if you are starting to fly sort of in this week with stuff getting really busy and what have you, I would say just consider those options a little bit carefully. Focus on what you truly want, and it's being focused will help you be more productive, okay, and to achieve the dream things that you've been dreaming about, whether that's dream job, dream home, dream whatever. Okay. Now, for some of you, definitely travel might be your dream trip. Okay. So take that how it resonates as well. I feel like for somebody wants to sell their property and they're looking to see what their options are for getting the best price for that. All right. Close the month with the Fool clarified by the Ace of Wands and the Three of Wands. Beautiful reset week there. Fool is a new beginning and a fresh start. You're taking a leap of faith here, my friends, and you really are trusting in your journey. So I feel like it's nice passion here associated. You have 2 more wands there against that Fool, and feeling quite passionate that you have a spark here and looking to expand your future, right? Feeling very excited, very inspired. Something new is really lighting you up in this last week of the month, and I feel like your expansion and your growth is very intentional, very directed toward a very specific future that you're trying to plan for yourself. Okay. You're not just starting something new and that's it. Like you're sort of stepping into that bigger vision. Okay. Going back to that King of Wands, right? definitely getting into a bigger vision of your life. So it could involve, business expansion, personal growth. It could be travel. But any way you look at this, could be your family, your relationships. But at the end of the day, it's about thinking about some very, very, specific changes, momentum, something bold here that you're trying to get going, and get going with speed. Let's get you an oracle message now from the Oracle of the Fairies. What message would you like to give Capricorn to add to this reading for the month of April? Message for Capricorn. Okay, you have the moderation card here. Interesting. I'll read to you what it says. It says, is there something you know you shouldn't be eating? Try to eat mindfully and healthy, although the fairies say that a little bit of what you fancy is fine. Yeah, you might need a little bit of moderation here in that regard, but I also feel like the moderation here is, as I said, moderation between trying to go too fast and not being able to, or not really doing much and time to get going. All right. So you got to find that right balance there, my friends. Okay, that's it for today, Capricorn. I'll see you again very soon. Until then, please know I am, as always, wishing you divine light and love.